While you were watching something else, I was watching, that Netflix documentary on the USA basketball team in the Olympics last summer in Paris. That was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Francisco Lindor.
Swing it, Frankie.
Juan Soto.
No.
That is the 1-2 to start the lineup for the New York Mets. So says their manager, Carlos Mendoza. But what about after that?
Yeah, there's. We could say that Soto will go to. I think we're making progress. When we first started spring training, I only gave Lindor. Now we get to a point where like, well, let's go Lindor Soto. But the good thing is we got great options. We got great players, and there's a lot of different ways that I could go. But as of right now, I'm leaning Lindor Soto.
I love those hats. Shout out to WFAN Radio. All right, so Francisco Lindor at the top, Juan Soto in the 2-hole, according to their manager, Carlos Mendoza. But you have a different viewpoint, and you have a different lineup.
Well, I look at Lindor. He's the key to the lineup. And here's why. You know, we have the 3-batter rule now that a reliever has to face.
Yep.
I got to give Soto as many opportunities to swing the bat as possible.
Yes.
That's why Aaron Judge was so important. That I can't just walk Soto. I got to face Judge. So when I look at the Mets lineup, there's holes around him. And the only guy that protects him properly for me is Lindor. Because he's going to hit lefties and righties.
Yeah.
If I put him second and I hit other people around him, he's not getting any. He's getting walked.
Yeah.
I'm going after Pete. I'm going after all the other guys. So here's my suggestion.
Yeah, this is your lineup. How
combination
you would
of an old
lay
school
it out.
thought, but how I'm also looking at protection. Brandon Nimmo's leading off. He's always done it. He can do it. He's perfect. Lindor hitting 2? No. That's not my lineup.
That's not?
No, I would have him hitting 3rd.
It says it's your lineup.
It says mine, but I'll take it for now. All right, but I would have him hitting 3rd because I would have Soto 2, Lindor 3.
Okay.
Because I want Lindor protecting Soto.
Okay.
And then I'm going to Pete, then I'm going to Ventos, and then I'm going to McNeil, and I'm going to Alvarez.
So according to this graphic, you would flip-flop 2 and 3.
Yeah, I don't know how I oversighted that. But I would have him hitting behind Soto.
Yeah.
Because I got to have somebody that makes that other team think, what are we going to do? Right now, if you put that back up there, no problem. I'm walking Soto in a number of scenarios. I'm bringing my nasty righty in, and I'm going after Pete, and I'm going after Ventos, and I'm going after those guys. I'm going to walk Soto. That's one of my at-bats, no problem. Yeah. And I'll go up and get the other 2 guys. Like, let's take the Yankees, for example. Let's say Devin Williams is coming in the game.
Okay.
He's walking Soto, and he's going after everybody else.
Alonso took Devin Williams' oppo deep in the postseason.
Good luck. That's just how I would play this.
I see what you're thinking, but here's a couple of concerns that I have with that. Lindor in the leadoff spot last season had an OPS of 928.
I get it. He got hot, but he's done that before in other spots
And
in
if
his
you're
career.
concerned that Pete Alonso can't handle righties, then I think you have a bigger problem.
Not saying he can't handle right-handers. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
But I am saying that I'm going to make him beat me before I'm letting Lindor beat me.
Okay.
If I'm an opposing team. If I'm looking matchups, which everybody plays today, give me the righty matchup. Don't give me the lefty matchup. Lindor gives me protection both ways. Go get a lefty. No problem, I'm hitting right-handed. Go get a righty. No problem, I'm hitting left-handed. Now I'm getting Soto something to pitch, something to hit.
Do you think that you run the risk of solving one problem but then creating another? Like I said, we saw what Lindor did once he was moved to the leadoff spot. Because you said yourself, Lindor is the key to this lineup.
I get it. But let's look at what happened. He got hot. If I'm paying Francisco Lindor $300 million, he better hit more than he did second half last year. He figured it all. This guy's a premier bat. He's going to hit regardless where you put him. He had a bad first half.
I think for me, Alonso, a player that has led Major League Baseball in RBIs since 2019, no one has more RBIs than Pete Alonso. I think that look, if Alonso can't provide protection for Juan Soto, then what are we doing?
I think it's all like that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying my odds, I'm stacking more guys behind
We fixed the graphic. Here, okay, this is how you would do it.
So I am now stacking 3 power hitters behind Soto.
Okay.
good luck getting me out. One of those three is going to get you. But Lindor is the linchpin for me.
Yeah.
Because now I'm making you think in the other dugout. Okay, am I going to go lefty? Let's say I put McNeil 9, like a lot of people are saying. Then I got Nimmo and Soto. Here comes a lefty for 3 guys.
Yeah.
Okay? So how do you break that up? You break that stuff up, how I've broken the lineup up. And that's how you force the other team.
Okay.
Because of the 3-batter rule. If it was old style and I could just bring a lefty matchup in, then yeah, I changed my lineup. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
But now I have a little more control over what they're thinking in that dugout.
Yeah.
So you look at that lineup now and you go, okay, I got Nimmo. I'll bring a lefty in. Well, I got Nimmo. Soto's going to hit anybody. And then Lindor's going to force you to have to pitch to him.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you think. Hit us up on Twitter. You can also find me on Blue Sky. I'd love to hear what you have to say. This tweet here from Brian
Thanks for fixing that, guys. I messed that up. Sorry.
No, it's good. I'm glad we were able to get some clarification there. Brian Hoke, who does a great job covering the Yankees for MLB.com, had this tweet here. This was a couple days ago. Giancarlo Stanton said he's dealing with, quote, a very high level of pain in both elbows. He has not swung a bat for 3 to 4 weeks and is unsure if he can be ready for opening day. And then Brendan Cuddy, who covers the team for The Athletic, had a more recent tweet. Aaron Boone says Giancarlo Stanton is dealing with tennis elbows, and there's no timetable for a resumption of baseball activities. This is obviously less than optimal news for the New York Yankees, and it sounds like Giancarlo Stanton's availability for opening day is in serious jeopardy.
No doubt about it. I mean, this is the first I've ever heard of this, ever. Tennis elbow from swinging a bat.
Elbows.
Elbows.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean forever. I've never heard of this. Not both arms.
He has dealt with this in the past. I don't think in 2 arms, right, guys? I think he has dealt with this issue, but it's been.
And I get it sometimes when he finishes his swing with one arm. You're looking at a guy swinging a heavy bat. There's obviously a 2-hand finish, but if you get fooled and you get a 1-hand finish, I get it. Stretching the elbow out and whatnot. 2 elbows is something else. So maybe my only other thought is he may have to swing a lighter bat.
Interesting. Okay.
Just to get where he can actually sustain the whip, so to speak.
Now, look, when we put this up because Giancarlo Stanton has struggled with injuries. But the one thing I will always say about Giancarlo Stanton, he's been the Yankees' best postseason performer since 2019.
Big hit.
So he comes up big on the biggest of stages. But unfortunately, Harold, this has been a theme.
It's a big disappointment because that's part of what makes this lineup so great. And coming off the postseason he had, you're like, oh man, I can't wait to see him get back on track.
So what did they do?
We're watching a Hall of Famer. That's a hot take.
No.
We're watching a Hall of Famer in Stanton.
You're right. I don't think that is too much of a hot take, Harold, because he is very close to 500 homers. And guys, if he hits 500 homers, he's going into the Hall of Fame. I know some of you are upset about that, but that's just the way it is. Would you maybe put Jason Dominguez in the DH? Then you could put Trent Grisham in the outfield if Giancarlo's not available.
They have options to do that.
But Dominguez, a young player, maybe a DH role is difficult.
Yeah, it might be, but he can. They may have to do that. They got options to do things.
Yeah.
I think they'll rotate that DH if that's the case. But that's a big blow. It's a big blow. I mean, hey, there's some guys still out there.
JD Martinez is one of them.
Yeah.
We're looking for someone that excels at the DH spot. Speaking of excelling, Lawrence Butler, there was a point last season where he was among the best players in the game. And this tweet here from Evan Drellick, who covers the game for The Athletic. According to his sources, Lawrence Butler and the A's have begun and are in the midst of ongoing contract extension talks. I love this idea. I love this player. What do you make of Butler and a potential extension with the A's?
I think it's fantastic. 2 things. One, the A's are locking players up, and it's
Brent
great.
Rooker earlier.
Great for the sport to see. Severino got a long-term deal. They locked up Kotsay. Now this is their franchise guy in a sense. He's young. He had a great first year. I was saying this the other day. If you don't know what your young guys can do, you haven't done a good job of scouting them anyway. And so, yeah, I love the fact he's locking him up. Two things here that come to mind immediately for me.
Wow.
Yeah. Number one was, who's his best friend? Michael Harris. Michael Harris has a long-term deal with the Braves. You know, the argument is, oh, man, don't sign so early. Wait it out, wait it out. I can hear certain agents yelling that now. Are you guaranteed tomorrow?
Yeah.
When you're young, you're probably going to redo another contract anyway. So get yourself set. We don't know his circumstances. Set his family up for life. And then you can redo another one in 5, 7 years or whatever.
Get another bite at the apple.
You know, and then I think the other part of it is the agent. You know, if this was a Boras client, we'd be saying this is a waste of conversation.
Right.
He's going to run them to the end. This is not a Boras client. I think this deal gets done.